Oh, hey, you guys, it's MJ from Alta Love. How are you? So, I wanted to do the update for the full moon coming in the next few days. May 18th is a Scorpio full moon, and it really is often a big turning point in the year. You might be able to even recall the last couple of years. Around this time, there were probably fairly significant energy shifts in your life. I'm certainly aware of those in my life over these last few years, that there were kind of suffering patterns that are kind of coming up to really be seen and released, ideally. And also, as main themes for this full moon, and just the general theme, I would say, for the last 6 to 9 months, has been really us looking quite deeply at self-worth patterns. So the opposite is obviously lack and self-loathing and unworthiness. And then it makes perfect sense that aligned with the self-worth piece is us reevaluating our value system. So, well, what's really important to us, right? And that's relevant to the share I did yesterday about like assumptive reasoning and money and this economy, and how we all walk around and are heavily programmed from a very young age to actually buy into the illusion that, we need money to survive, when that's just not true at all. Although I'm not trying to say that, I'm not bypassing the inherent need in an economy, i.e., like, it's better to have money, you can buy stuff, you can, and what a shame and disservice it is to this planet and to one another that this is how things are, that we live in a world where we're going around, oh, we need money to survive, when it's not true. We need clean air, we need one another, we need clean water, but we certainly don't need money. We created money as a construct of currency exchange, energetic exchange, and however you want to interpret it, what we're becoming acutely aware of en masse is that it's not working. The economy doesn't work for the whole, it works for a limited few, and this construct is becoming tiresome for the masses, who are kind of being squeezed off and starved out, and it's like not cool and not fun at all. So this May full moon in Scorpio is really an opportunity en masse for us to dig in real deep and figure out what it is that's really important to us, so that we as an individual can actually claim our freedom. Because if we don't know what's important to us, we can't honor it. Obviously, we can't go after it. We can't, yeah. And so we have to be able to be really honest with ourselves about what it is that we desire, what it is that we love, what it is that is important to us, whether it's travel, whether it's making babies, whether it's, like writing a book, whatever it is that's your heartfelt dream. Especially, again, these last few months, it's likely that for some of us, like, old dreams that we may have hidden are actually rising to the surface. So we're starting to remember, I'm hearing like we're starting to remember our heritage. And I feel quite aligned with this as a soul group as well, where for some of us, we're really like finally connecting with like minds and people that we feel a connection with, like on a soul level. And that isn't something that's happened sort of profoundly for many of us across any lifetimes. We've been completely separate, completely alone. And that's part of what's been shifting over these last few months, are on a collective level, soul groups are coming together. So soul groups coming together is actually assisting the awakening, because it's helping to crystallize and anchor the new energy grids. I don't use grid as like I don't wish to use the word grid as an old paradigm illusion thing, so it's probably not the best word to use. It's just more energy, because grid has like a structured, not a limited structure necessarily, but well, yeah. I guess because sometimes I call like the system the grid, and like unplugging from the grid. And I see it as, again, this like embedded, limited combustion system that is obviously siphoning energy, and then it's like steal from people and then sell it back to them. So there's that. And then so I'm aware of like shape-shifting some of the words so we don't get trapped in thinking that there's a dogma, or thinking that there's like a I guess like something set in stone, as it were, or not wanting any of us to fall back into that funny old expression of like, well, it's just the way it is, because it's not. And things are changing very quickly, in fact, weirdly, because this year has felt like the total reversal of that. Like, to me, in my reality, this whole year has been like the slowest, weirdest, like, what is love? And yet, when I look at it in self-study mode, when I look at it in review, I can see wholeheartedly that, like, oh, how annoying. Like, all of this stuff just had to happen. All of this sort of clear out energy had to happen in one's life to actually vibrationally line oneself up with your desired manifestation. And that's ultimately, I talk about it in the book, about why processing emotional storms is actually legit functional when it comes to our ability to manifest our dreams. Because if we don't penetrate the depth of our emotional field, we often don't know what's there. I.e., what I noticed many years ago, before I wrote the book, in fact, what I noticed many years ago, after quite a few years in the love and light bubble, was that I started to own my anger, start to process the layers of anger. And weirdly, like, I started to hear this thought programming, which was really insidious, i.e., like, I hate you, I hate you. And I could observe these really dark shadow thought projections inside. Like, I'm feeling all sad and in pain. I'm like sitting with myself rather than like projecting or like ranting away about it. And then I'm just hearing the inner dialogue of, I hate you, I hate you. And, I just knew in that moment, whether I'm projecting that hatred or owning that hatred, I'm in hatred right now, right? So I'm hating on. And then that's really what like shone to me, again, the illusion of love and light, was that years and years, I'm like in this naive, just bubble of light, making excuses, not really listening to myself, trying to get ahead, trying to people please my way out of my shit. And then dropping into this, and then there was no turning back, because I knew I knew intuitively it was alchemy, it was transformation, and that there was great depth in allowing our bodies to purge and storm and heal in a way deeper way than I ever imagined possible, or certainly in a deeper way than I ever saw in my healing world, right? And ultimately, like, we are light. We are light-filled beings. It's just that we can't embody the fullness of our light if we deny the darkness, if we deny the pain, if we deny the shadow, i.e. the unconscious, i.e. all of the crazy ass shit that we've been burying and probably running away from for a long time, and which is still facing us perpetually, day in, day out in this world, right? Until we own it and transform it. And so our self-worth piece is really, like, I would say a huge part of the collective would have bottomed out financially this year, and or would have had a series of events that meant they couldn't hold on to certain structures around how they make money, and also around expectation and control around money. So how our ego is intertwined with the construct of money. So we're having to let go of a lot of our deeper control patterns around money and worth. And I actually, and because it's connected to sexual energy and sexual intimacy, I have to say that I do feel that the self-worth is really related to our physical bodies as well, and our ability to transform shame and guilt from within the self, and one, heal the vessel in alignment with the soul, which means that each of us in alignment with our soul, our daily habits and patterns, and our, our vices, and our inspirations, all of that is completely unique, which is also part of our spiritual sovereignty and our authenticity as human beings. That's why judgment doesn't, serve anybody, because we're all completely unique and authentic, and the truth of our life path is in our heart, in the force within us, not any of the illusions or constructs externally outside of us. So for many of us, we might be having like a kind of abrupt, although abrupt is a bit of an aggressive word, just some fun little, maybe unexpected changes. My intuition is picking up on like unexpected changes in the realm of like either certain people making a return, or well, of course it's a full moon, so it could be that certain things come to light in our again, our intimate relationships and how we're working around money energetically. So there can be quite big shakeups and breakups. Once again, this time though, we're feeling probably a little bit more committed and supported or supported in our path and in our journey. Now I do have notes, so it's just specifically like self-worth and values. So that's and here again, it's like this is the stuff we've actually been working on this stuff for well, again, like forever. But certainly these themes to me have been like hugely like coming into focus since end of summer, really. Like since summer, for me, I had a whole bunch of crazy shit happen, which I was like, it was intense. And after the year and the last few years, it was just like, I can't deal. And and so yeah, it's like being thrown off the deep end kind of thing of like what it is that we value. And also what I'm hearing is like what it is that we deserve is like, I feel like often we create these experiences which open our heart to like a potential reality, and then we actually run away from it. We actually close the door out of our own fear and also out of our own deservingness. And so I feel like there might be a review from some of our cycles to take a leap and to allow ourselves the pure love of the deservedness that we feel in connection with other, and then basically around our bodies. I'm just hearing letting ourselves having some rock and sex, and then ultimately, especially for the starseed light worker community, those of us who resonate with ultra love, certainly be open to receive money, 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 money. Be open to receive money. Cash, resources. Again, you guys know me. I jest about the whole like money, money, show me the money. But in truth, I don't want to limit us to money, because I want us to remember that the truth of money is a currency and it's energy exchange. And ultimately, energy is infinite. So to me, it's really important to remember that your dream manifestation comes in many forms and can show up in infinite types of resources. So money is just like one of those types of resources that we all agree to. But there might be new people showing up. There might be opportunities showing up, people showing up. Yeah, money is definitely one of them, or maybe ideas, just like new things coming. But in particular, just so that we're not too much in the excitement of new manifestation, but that we remember that it could be a bit like there could just be stuff that comes up. We might be feeling some anxiety around these times, just because we're having to make some pretty big shifts, which can feel uncomfortable, i.e. anxiety, that kind of inner conflict, right? So it's really, really important for us to do our pardon me, you guys. It's going to be really important for us to do our meditation practices and our self-love practices and our relaxation practices. And pardon me, one of the things that I got was, and this is actually from a client that I'm working with, and we tend to do like just daily meditation, maybe some movement, just like whatever is on flow. And I often do, and there's a bit of a healing. This specific person I'm thinking of is healing from some trauma, and actually healing from some physical stuff as well. And so we're not doing anything massive with the yoga vibrashe, but we're having to do, and this is again because I work intuitively, I too sometimes like I'm not sure what comes through, and then, well, actually 100% of the time people are like, that was exactly what I needed, because intuition is always spot on. So one of the meditations that we're doing, that I was doing intuitively, and then she shared an astro report about this full moon, and how, again, those of us who resonate in the kind of etheric realms, we want to remember to anchor our light. And so we can just do a light-filled meditation, which means all you need to do is imagine a light from the crown of the head, and then I imagine like the beam, so like a beam of light moving down the central pillar of your body. And then really you just want to imagine this beam of light, this central pillar of light, radiating through your body and extending beyond your body, so that your body is a pillar anchored into earth. So you can actually imagine your beingness growing roots, light-filled roots into the earth, as deep and as big as you want them to be. And then you imagine the crown chakra opening up to the light-filled awareness of, say, the central sun. It could just be like a divine elixir. Again, it's imagination, but we know that imagination is actually just as real as the physical reality in which we inhabit. We just got programmed out of our spirit connection and got programmed into the physical one more dominantly. So all we're doing as a collective here are rebalancing, so that we are as much in tune with our inner world as we are our external world. So weirdly, this is an insert I'm hearing right now. We're gonna have a lot of power couples start to come together and emerge in this world, as far as like new paradigm leadership goes. We're gonna have a lot more, yeah, divine union in romance, I guess, which is cool. I think especially because so many of us have been absolutely destroyed when it comes to love, fantasy, romance, and yeah, just been totally shattered by our counterparts. Although it's getting better, isn't it? Some of us, and or some of us are opening up to it, but I mean, let's just be honest, most of humanity has broken hearts, and I think a lot of us have become completely disillusioned by the idea of happily ever after. Hence why there's just this sense of completely letting go and accepting unity with self, ultimately. Like not necessarily buying in or fantasizing about the illusion of intimacy with, if on that regard of a happily ever after, other than just loving the people that are in your life as and when they're in your life. And then, anywho, at least all of this love stuff doesn't like get me super emotional. I know that I've actually cleared a lot of the like distortion around abandonment and rejection, and also like from the female perspective, I've cleared a lot actually, around even just thinking I'm supposed to be with somebody, and really embracing myself, my sovereignty, and not being possessed and owned by a man, and then not having these weird underlying programs running of like seeking, validation and partnership from men, because because a lot of my experience weirdly was the reverse of that, like kind of just abuse and mistrust, or like, yeah, being picked up and dropped, and you're just like, yeah. And like, yeah, just so like a lot of that stuff. Here I go rambling on now, but clearly, like, that's the stuff that we've been having to face and process and heal, is our undeservingness, our unwantedness, you know, which this is the stuff that really does harbor deep within. And so it's moon in Scorpio, full moon in Scorpio. It's like, yeah, that's the depths. Scorpio is like the one that takes us as deep as we can go. So, yeah, I think a lot of us are actually ready for this turning point, because it's been moving in waves. It's been like, I would say pretty deep. It's been deep as anything. And yet this time round, even though it's been like kind of an extended depth, I feel that we really are moving in. We're like stepping into the new now. And yet it's like we're on the healing journey and we're all bandaged up, and like the worst is over, the trauma, the shock, the panic, all that stuff is over. But we're still bandaged, you know, we're still, the skin's healing, or like, yeah, we still have maybe these cobwebs or these feelings of residue that we're wanting to kind of keep moving, just keep moving forward. But we're finally, again, with the turning point energy and a little bit of a shock value of this weekend, I feel that things are going to be made clear to us. Decisions are going to have to be made around the direction that we want to take. But I feel that we're finally ready to make that choice, to move in that direction, to commit to ourselves, you know, and to commit to the manifestation of our dreams. So we have self-worth and values, and then we're anchoring in the light to believe and manifest in our dreams, having faced, owned, and transformed the shadow, certainly around value, money, and self-worth, sex, or reverse the two. You know, they're both intimately connected, intimate relationships, right? What are we worth? When we're truly of value and truly worthy and deserving of our highest joy and our true integrity, then everything we attract ultimately aligns with that. And it's true. Because it just does. It's the process and the journey of actually becoming accustomed to our feelings, which that seems to be the trick, and part of what takes people quite a while is that people are disconnected, so they just kind of get used to denying their feelings or rationalizing themselves out of the feelings, which is never a service to anyone, because we end up possibly denying people we love, we end up denying our true desires, and then we run around in circles, basically running away from ourselves. So I hope that that was useful for you guys. I might go live, I might not. I'm feeling a bit of a downturn. Some of you have watched one of my videos. I mentioned dealing with a situation in my personal professional life, and I'm still working on that. I'm having to address it. So it's a weird one for me. This is not like a new, or it is new. Yeah, this is like nothing I've ever really dealt with before. And yet, I'm lucky at this point to have the awareness to know that, like, you know, some things you just can't deal with by yourself. And sometimes we need people that have a certain standing in society to help the people that we can't help. So just, I guess, send me some lovin', and also like send some love into my field, because it's a bit of a tricky situation, i.e. it's one of those situations that for an empath can make us feel really bad, and yet I'm like, no, I can't deal with this by myself, you know? And also when your mom is freaking out and telling you need to that you need to get some help. So I'm thankful for my mom, and I'm thankful for a really amazing support system of good friends and soulmate clients, and a business that is thriving after 6 years on YouTube, and after setting up Alta Love as a limited company over 3 years ago, my friends. It's finally starting to turn around, and I'm so thankful. And obviously you guys are the whole part of that. The fact that you're still reaching out and wanting to buy books, and the fact that you guys are booking sessions, even just one-offs, you know, like it's all the signs that we made it. Like, we're making it to the other side. We're making it to our dreams. It's just been probably a little bit deeper and a bit more intense than any of us could have imagined. But with that, wherever you are in your world, I hope that it's going really good, and I hope that, you're getting everything you always wanted. And feel free to reach out, you guys. I love you. Thanks for all your comments and your shares and all that kind of stuff. I hope that this full moon brings you all that you desire, and also helps really to anchor you into your light-filled presence and the truth of your sovereignty. Have a great day, you guys. Love you loads. Om, peace, peace, peace.